Welcome to the Humble ISD Advanced Learning Podcast, where our goal is to talk about anything and everything related to advanced learning in less time than it takes for you to get from home to school or work. I'm Dr. Tong Udikrit, the Director of Advanced Learning here in Humble ISD. Today, we're continuing to look at all the various options that we have in the district for students to engage with advanced learning. Specifically today, we're going to be looking at our UT OnRamps program, and joining me for the conversation is Dr. Jennifer Porter, the Managing Director for UT OnRamps. Welcome, Jennifer. I'm glad that you're joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to speak with you today.
So, Jennifer, so far in this podcast, we've talked about things like AVID, gifted and talented, dual credit, a lot of other topics related to advanced learning. Can you start out by just giving our listeners an overview of what specifically UT OnRamps is?
Sure. OnRamps is a dual enrollment program, which means that the students have the opportunity to earn a distance college credit from UT Austin that goes on a UT Austin transcript while they are completing their high school credit with a high school teacher in the classroom. And these two courses are developed and coordinated together so students have a connected learning experience, not twice the amount of work.
So what I hear you saying is very similar to some of the other opportunities that we might have related to things like dual credit, but a little bit different, right? Like this didn't exist, I don't think, when I was in school. And so would love to hear a little bit more from you about like, what is it about OnRamps that makes it unique compared to other college credit opportunities? I'd love to take a look at it first in a couple of different lenses, right? So what makes UT OnRamps different from something like advanced placement?
The biggest difference is that students earn their college grade by the activities and assignments that they complete while they are in the course. So there's not only one large assessment at the end in order to earn that college credit. The students also will be earning a college grade. So it's a A-, a B+, and that is on a transcripted credit, a transcript from UT Austin.
So what I hear you saying is that, a lot of us are familiar with this idea of advanced placement, right? The advanced placement course is rigorous. It's a rigorous course, but it all comes down to, for the college credit side, that one test on one day, where the UT OnRamps side may be more kind of that earn as you go mentality, where students get the multiple chances or multiple opportunities to show mastery. So let's take a look at it now, I guess, from a different lens when we look at dual credit. How is what we're doing with UT OnRamps similar and different to what we could expect from a dual credit sort of, how is it different from what we're doing with dual credit with our dual credit partner here?
Again, there's a couple of key differences. In dual enrollment, there are two teachers, two people awarding the grades. So you have a college instructor of record who is essentially your college professor who's going to be providing the college grade. And then you have your high school teacher who is providing the high school grade. And those two grades could be different because the standards and expectations are a little bit different. They go on two separate transcripts. So it's possible for you to make an A+ in your high school course by doing the high school assignments, and you might make a B+ on your college assignment or the reverse. So these are two different transcripts, and that way students can have the opportunity to earn that high school credit. But when they get to the end of their college course with OnRamps, they also have the opportunity to accept or decline that credit or grade. So if they don't feel confident about how well they have done on the college side, they have still earned the high school credit, still earned their high school grade, and they can decline their college credit or transcript, and it's like that didn't happen. Now, if they accept it, it is transferable, and there's a lot of benefits to that as well.
Yeah, so one of the things that we talked about when we talked about our dual credit in district is this idea that our kids needed to take this TSI, right? This Texas Success Initiative assessment that shows that they're college ready. And so that is actually something that they absolutely have to take dual credit classes. But now with UT OnRamps, our kids get this opportunity to engage with college level coursework that maybe they weren't able to show that TSI qualification, but they can still engage with a college level course.
That's exactly it.
So we discussed this concept of a dual enrollment model, right? Where we've got our high school teacher on one side who's the guest lecturer, but then we've also got this UT professor who, for all intents and purposes, is conducting a distance learning class, right? So our kids are enrolled in the college level course with a UT professor in the University of Texas at Austin. Would love to hear a little bit more about what that looks like on UT side as it relates to interacting with our students in this UT course with distance learning.
We have a lot of interaction through the grading and through the assignments that are provided. And I'll use the example of our rhetoric course, which is essentially an English language arts course, but we call it rhetoric. And in that course, students write an essay. They submit their essay, and a college grader provides them feedback, tells them direction, explains how they have gotten things really well done and things that need some improvement. In another course, I'll talk about chemistry. The faculty member has recorded around 80 short videos teaching directly the skills, the knowledge, providing examples, and students have that incredible library of videos throughout the entire course to reference at any time. They can watch it just in time to prepare for class. They can watch it again when it's time to take a test and for the unit, and then they can watch it yet again when they're preparing for that midterm and final. So it's like they have their own faculty member with them anytime they're willing to log on to their course and watch that video.
Well, I love the fact that you mentioned that they can reference this material at any time, right? It's this idea that we've talked about that let's meet our kids wherever and whenever they are, right? So some of our kids who might be involved in extracurriculars or are night owls, they might want to engage with the material at a completely different time. And so they do have that opportunity to be able to go back and look whenever it works for them so that they can continue their learning, continue to grow in their knowledge, and not be bound by certain time frames in terms of accessing the material.
Exactly. We have some students who have reported that they watch the videos or they do some of their studying when they're on a bus to an athletic game or to a band competition. So they're using that travel time effectively by just accessing the course from their phones and being able to engage and think about their content as they're growing as a college student.
Yeah, and I think ultimately what this results in is we're seeing better student outcomes, right? So the individualized supports, the personalized supports that we are giving to our OnRamps instructors is translating into better instruction for our students and better learning so that they can master the material. So I know you have this very unique perspective because you get to work with a lot of different districts in the state of Texas as they're implementing OnRamps. So I would love for you to share, if you don't mind, maybe your favorite OnRamp success story, right? Like the story that when you hear about this implementation of OnRamps, it just warms your heart. You're like, yes, that is what we're about here with UT OnRamps.
I have been with OnRamps for 7 years. So it's really hard to just choose one story because there are so many, but there is one student that really stands out as an example of the type of learning and impact that can happen. So there was a student who was taking statistics in high school, and she wanted to be a nursing student. She wanted to go on to be a nurse. And so she did well in the course, persevered, and then applied to the University of Texas at Austin in nursing. She could have gone many places, but she chose UT. And when she got here, she did well and was very excited. But in the statistics course, she had learned something called RStudio, and that's how to manipulate statistics using some very basic coding. And as a freshman, many of the student work positions were not available to her because she was a freshman. But because she knew RStudio, she actually got a fellowship that was intended for students who were juniors in college. But she brought skill set that she had from the course into her college experience, and that accelerated her college experience. She additionally took on some leadership roles within the university, leading some student groups. She became part of our own OnRamps advisory group for the time that she was here. But she did have less time actually in college because she graduated early.
Which I would assume is both a good and a bad thing, right? Being kind of that shorter college experience. But I think that's the other thing that we didn't even talk about is the fact that all the resources being built into these OnRamps courses, that kids are able to learn these skills so that it transfers with them whenever they get to college and even beyond, to even open the opportunities that they may not normally get if they didn't go through these courses. So I know one of the concerns that I've fielded before is related to this idea of credit, right? I think our community, by and large, understands advanced placement. They're used to advanced placement. And so they have these concerns about credit. So can you talk a little bit more about what you're seeing on your end in terms of transferability of credit?
Yes. And I'll share first that we did award over 80,000 college credits just last year. So students are earning a lot of credits through OnRamps and through University of Texas at Austin. First, all of our courses meet what are called core credit courses. So in Texas, we have the Texas Common Core Numbering System, TCCN, and a course that has a TCCN is required by law to be transferable to any state or public institution. So a public community college, a public university is required to take that credit and transfer it to their own institution. And so that means that our courses, because they have that TCCN, are guaranteed to transfer across the state of Texas to any public college or university. We also see, however, that because the credit is on a UT Austin transcript, that the universities and colleges are going to evaluate that credit as coming from UT Austin, because it does. So any institution, any location that would accept a UT Austin credit will accept the OnRamps credit. And we do see that across the nation. University of Alabama, Ivy League campuses, Stanford, our credits have transferred to all of those locations and many, many more.
Now, look, Jennifer, I know that this is a relatively sort of new pathway for a lot in our community. It's fairly new in terms of gaining exposure and possibly college credit through UT. And so what is a recommendation that you'd like to give to parents or students who have heard this or listening to this and might be a little bit intrigued, have some questions about it? What's a piece of advice that you would give them?
We want to support our students in learning how to become effective college students who can persevere, as well as learn that content. So as we think about, again, experiencing college before college, the most important thing is to keep going, to persevere, keep trying, and to reach out to the supports.
Look, so there you have it, everybody. So if you're listening to this podcast and you're interested in pursuing an OnRamps course or have additional questions, you could always reach out to your campus counselor. You could always reach out to us as well at advanced.learning@humbleisd.net. But look, that's all the time that we have for today for the Advanced Learning Podcast. Make sure you follow us on social media on Twitter at humbleisd_ADV. But don't forget to like and subscribe so you can be notified when we drop a new episode talking about anything and everything related to advanced learning. This is Dr. Tong Uticrit, and this has been the Advanced Learning Podcast, keeping you ahead of the learning curve in Humble ISD.